Usually, when there is a tragedy or a disaster, the first people you see running into this danger, with little care for their own lives, are men. It's always men. Even in this modern day and time, where women are told they can do anything a man can do, and be just like a man, still, the subconscious instinct in men will cause men to be the ones running into burning buildings, pulling people out of rubble, running to others' aid, with little care for their own safety. Now we can look on the internet and see tons of feminists, tons of women in general, tons of SJWs, both male and female, saying that we as men are nothing but angry, violent, rapacious animals. But when I left my house this morning, heard the sirens of the fire engine driving past me, saw the men in the freezing cold, fixing the roads, seen 2 men hanging off the side of a building cleaning the windows, seeing another group of men siphon clogged from a sewer system, all on one trek to go buy some coffee, then I can come back and go on the internet and see nothing but bashing of men. A Gillette advert to tell men this is what you are, so stop being it. When I say constantly, if the majority of men were like this, women would not have the ability to say the crap they say and moan about us. To me, it seems as though they want men to be, on a large scale, a bunch of nice guys, because that's what it seems like. A bunch of nice guys who continually give and give women everything and get nothing in return. No respect, no understanding, no care. And we should be okay with it because we should be humble because of women. Just be humble because it's a woman, just be humble. Don't say anything, do not question anything. Do not point out these things because you're bashing. When women can say the exact same thing we as a man can say, but it's not seen as bashing. And it seems as though they want a society of weak, simpish men that will continually bow to their demands. No, we should not stop all the hard work we're doing. No, keep building those roads and plowing the filth out of those sewers. Keep doing so. Does not mean we will respect you. Does not mean we will see you as anything beyond that. It means we will all still see you as men we should be worried about and call me too against. You see, we as men, we hold other men accountable. Abusive men, rapacious men, violent men, men that harm children. We as men, we hold these men accountable. We do not all jump and side with these men to protect them. If we know these men have done wrong things, we throw them under the bus, easily. But how often do women do the same thing? How often do women come out and start attacking women that falsely accuse men of abuse? How often do we see that? Where are the feminists? Look what happened to Chris Brown the other day in Paris. He was let off with no charge because it's now come out that this woman was lying. How often does that happen? Yet how often do we see feminists come out and say, this bee needs to get locked up as well? And even not feminists, just general women, how often do we see them come out and say, on a large scale, she should serve some prison time? We don't see that, do we? And when we see it, it's very few and far between. But look how many men attacked R. Kelly. Look how many men have been attacking R. Kelly. Look how many men disagree with men like this. But yet we are supposed to see a Gillette advert and think, this advert is right, we as men should stop being like this. The point being, pointing out what some men do does not mean tarnishing all men with that same brush. We as men have little to no respect from women nowadays. And the sad thing is, many men seem to think that it's okay, that we should not have the respect we once had, that we should not have the respect because we have been dominant for so long. Now it's women's time. Understand this, it will never be women's time. It will be a time where women try to dominate men, which is now, and what will happen is many men will just choose to focus on their own lives and not deal with the nonsense being thrown upon them. Understand this, we as men understand women do not care about what we think and feel. Because anytime we speak on what we think and feel, we are seen as just being overly emotional or bashing. We are never seen as the hard-working men who in an instant would jump to the aid of so many without even thinking. We as men are sacrificial creatures. We as men sacrifice ourselves constantly. Even single men, single non-married men, men that do not even want to date, because of the jobs these men work, because of the things these men do to keep society going, by default these men are still building things and keeping things in place and keeping things going, still to protect women. Not only themselves, but the women within society as well. Women and children first. Many men would do this subconsciously. And the sad thing is, these men get no respect at all. The sad thing is, these men wonder why their women do not even see them. The sad thing is, women still expect more and more from these men, but can't even fathom giving these men respect. The sad thing is, there are many men that actually want a wife and a family. But the even more sad thing is, men know that they are treated like nowadays. We know we are treated like dogs. We know we are seen as little to nothing. We know we have to care for ourselves because the world does not care about us. They do not want to hear what we have to say unless we are saying good things about women. That's all we should say. People confuse talking points with hatred, and that in itself is a defense mechanism, so that we do not say anything or question anything, we just comply and go along with it. But at the end of the day, we as men know that when the hits the fan, they will all turn to us. They will say all that feminist nonsense, oh that was then, but now it's a new time. Now we need each other. Strange the power one has in their own complex. Strange, isn't it? Just because women do not respect us men, does not mean we should not respect ourselves and each other. Does not mean we should be like women and not hold men accountable, like women do not like to hold other women accountable. We as men, we do this. We will stay doing this. Understand as a man, you are the one with the power. Understand, we are the ones that are needed to keep things going. Understand, from we stop, everything stops. We can have days without women to see the experiment as to what it will be like. But days without men? If we were to have these days without men, you will see how society completely shuts down. Do not underestimate yourself as a man. No matter how much they underestimate you, underestimate us. Regardless of what they say, men, never forget and always understand the reality of it, the truth of it. Yes, we all own it. But never forget, men,